just a walk out halfway across the dam to the spillway. If Mom gets tired of walking, just let us know. We can always turn back early if we need to.
Are there benches over there?
The last benches are right here in this green space. We don't have any benches out on top of the dam.
Okay, no problem. How often does the water spill over?
Not very frequently. So that middle spillway is only used in years when we have too much water. So the last time that happened was back in 2017. We've done some tests on it, some small releases, but we haven't had what we consider like flood control stage since 2017.
Didn't the huge amount of water and the rain and snow this year that didn't suffice?
Nope, so we're coming out of 3 years of drought,
Right.
2020, 21, and 22.
Uh-huh.
We're all really low precipitation years.
Oh.
So the lake started off our winter season at only 35% full.
Wow.
We were like 140, 150 feet below full.
Uh-huh.
So we have a ton of storage space available this winter. Even with all that storage space,
Right.
we still were able to fill it up to 98% full this year.
Oh,
We essentially
good.
filled the lake within a year.
Okay. Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so as of today, we're sitting at 73% full,
73%.
which is really good for this time of year. So the main purpose for building Shasta Dam was to hold back floodwaters during those really high precipitation years and then slowly release it during drought years and during the summer. So we get almost all of our rainfall between the months of, usually starts sometime November, December, finishes up by April, May. So we really get 4 or 5 months of good solid rain.
Ngồi đi. Yeah, she's gonna sit there.
Okay.
So this is federal or state?
The site is federal.
Ngồi đi. Ngồi đi. I forget it is. Oh, so people who work here have to pass federal security clearance.
Yeah, but pretty good background
Wow.
check.
No criminal records.
No.
Islamic terrorists.
No. Yeah, the process of getting hired here takes a couple months because you got to get the background
course.
check, fingerprints done. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh look, I see some water coming down.
Yep, so like he was saying, we do have seepage through the dam.
Oh wow.
So that water kind of percolates through, and we have some tunnels in the dam for access to sensors. And the water tends to kind of pool within some of those tunnels, so we pump that water out. Some of those valves are also really old, so they're a little bit leaky. A little bit of water is able to get through those valves. That is something we're hoping to fix here in the next couple of years. We did get some funding through the Aging Infrastructure Bill, so we're hopefully going to fix some of those leaks within those valves.
Oh wow. And this occurs 24/7?
Yep.
Oh. Beautiful. Oh my
We
goodness.
have all the watch for rattlesnake signs out here, but really you should be watching for the squirrels. This is one of their favorite spots to lay and take a nap. They're not harmful or anything, but you have a lot of squirrels hanging out in this area.
Oh, there are rattlesnakes here?
Yes, yep. They like to hang out on the rocks right here. It's a nice warm spot for them to sun.
Right.
They don't come very often up over onto the sidewalk, but every once in a while we'll see them over on this side.
And do you kill them or?
No, we just let them do what they want to do.
Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is typical California.
Yep.
This is the image of California that everyone wants to have in the mind.
Yeah, Redding, California, just 10 miles down the road from us, is the sunniest city in California.
Oh, is that right? And from what I understand, it is a retirement community?
Somewhat, yeah. I would say our population tends to skew towards the older side. Our major A lot of forestry and logging and lumber. Sierra Pacific Industries is one of the largest private landowners in the West. And They own a lot of the forests out here, so a lot of logging.
Didn't legislation close that down? Or?
No, they still have their private land that they can log on. There's definitely more regulation around it as far as how much they can cut, what sections they're cutting. But there is still active logging up here in California.
Okay.
So if you look down here, you can see all of this driftwood. This one came up this year with the high water. So back in May, the water would have been lapping right here.
Oh, wow.
So right now, like I said, we're 73% full. We're about 45 feet down from the rim. If you look at the back side of the dam, you can kind of see that darker line right there. That's how full the water usually gets.
And
It's 100%.
and where did the water?
So the water either comes out on the spillway, or we can pump it through the pipes down here, the penstock pipes. So the penstock pipes lead to our generators, so we can create electricity.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's control release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, we can keep walking over here.
It's
You want to
beautiful.
wait up for Mom? Or
No.
she just looking out
She's
there?
not. She's not coming. She's not participating.
Okay. Just enjoy the views.
How long have you been working here?
I've been here for about 9 months.
And are you local, Danny?
I've been here for about 3 years now. So originally from Idaho.
Idaho. Okay. So Idaho is like what 99% or something like this, right?
A lot of Idaho looks like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I like it. It definitely feels
Reminds
like
you home. Boise?
Yeah,
Mhm.
the area.
There's a lot of Californians moving over there now, right?
I know, my parents always ask, when are you going to move back? I said, I can't afford to anymore. Californians drove up our housing prices.
Yep, I know.
But to be fair, I would do the same thing. If I had a lot of money and
Mhm.
found cheaper housing somewhere else, why
Yep.
wouldn't you move?
Yeah. So where exactly does federal land start, or Shasta Dam property? I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, so
Where
technically
does it-
everything that you can see here is essentially federal land.
Mhm.
Once you cross over the dam and head down the hill about a mile or so, it's Bureau of Land Management.
Oh,
so they
okay.
manage that hillside over there. We have a motorcycle and ATV park over there, lots of trails for them to ride on. Everything to the north of us is all Forest Service land. So Bureau of Reclamation manages the dam itself, just these few acres right here, and then Forest Service manages all of the land that's around the lake shoreline.
Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Oh. And where's the marina?
So we can't see any of the marinas from right here. They're all further upstream.
Oh, for
So Shasta Lake is a very fingery lake. We can probably only see 10-20% of the lake right now.
Oh,
It
wow.
goes back.
Oh my goodness,
the
this is
farthest
so
arm.
beautiful. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful.
The farthest arm backs up 35 miles.
The what now?
The farthest arm of the lake
okay.
backs up the water 35 miles.
Okay.
So we have 365 miles of shoreline around the lake when it's at full capacity.
Wow.
Have you guys been up to Mount Shasta before?
We passed through it because we went. 4 years ago, we went to Klamath,
Klamath?
Oregon.
Yep.
And when we went down back home, we passed through Mount Shasta. I mean, we didn't, go near.
Yeah.
But there was this visa
Yeah, even
point.
if you're just on the 5, you can see it, how big it is. I mean, even from here, it looks really big.
Oh,
So they
it's
call
nice.
us the 3 Shastas: Shasta Dam, Shasta Lake, and Mount Shasta.
Oh, okay.
So Shasta is about 14,200 feet tall. The snow that's on top of there is from about 2 days ago. We got a rainstorm down here. They got snow up there.
Oh, we're lucky.
So even looking at it this morning versus looking at it now, I can tell that it's melting. You can see kind of the snow line going up.
Right.
So it's not unusual to get it this early in the year. But yeah, it's gonna melt off pretty quickly here.
And is there skiing up there? No, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
there is?
Yep, Mount Shasta Ski Park. It's not a very big resort. I don't ski. I've never been up there before.
Okay. my wife would love that.
Yeah, Mount Shasta gets a pretty good snowpack every year, but surprisingly, we don't actually get that much of Mount Shasta's water here in the
Oh,
lake.
you don't?
A lot of it drains over into the Klamath River Basin, kind of flowing up.
Up north.
Towards Oregon.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
just the way the drainage basins are
Right.
set up, a little bit probably trickles in here, but most of it's flowing into the other basin. Most of ours comes from rain falling onto the drainage basins of those three major rivers, coming into Lake Shasta. So we can hold 4.5 million acre feet when we're full. So an acre foot covers about a football field 1 foot deep.
Wow.
So we're sitting still at about 3.5 million, even at 73% full.
Wow.
All right, if you want to stop right here, I'm going to point out a few things.
That's the
So
generator.
this is called the switch yard over here. That's where we get the power ready to get sent up the hill on those transmission lines. The electricity we produce here is enough that it could power all of Sacramento if we had all 5 generators on running at full capacity. A little bit closer to us, you can see kind of this solo tower. Up at the top, we have an osprey nest. It looks like our osprey have probably migrated for this season. So even though we don't get super cold winters up here, they typically migrate down probably to Mexico, Central America area. We don't track any of our birds here, but typically that's where osprey tend to go in the winter, and then they'll come back to the same nest in the spring.
In spring, right.
Yeah. And the osprey love living up here. We have dozens of them because they eat exclusively fish. So we have
Salmon?
a river right here.
Is it salmon?
They could eat salmon. They're not too picky. As long as it's fish, they'll eat it.
And bald eagles?
So we do have bald eagles in this area. The bald eagles and the osprey don't get along very
Right.
well. They're very territorial. So I haven't seen many bald eagles right here at the dam. But if you go further up, you're out on a boat somewhere up there, you can see them along the shoreline all over the lake.
Okay.
But they usually keep their distance. So with us having the osprey nest right here, the bald eagles don't come by too often. So those are those penstock pipes I was talking about coming out of the side of the dam, and they go down to our power plant. If you look right below the power plant, you can see the water looks kind of sloshy, kind of turbulent. We shoot all that water out underneath the water surface. So it's kind of hard to tell how many generators we have on at one time, just based on the amount of bubbliness. We're probably running 2 or 3 right now.
And you don't want to run all 5 at the same time?
No, because we don't want to waste the water. So we have a certain amount that we release each day that's scheduled to be released. So we have several different needs downstream. One of them is the farmers. We have farmers with water rights. A certain amount they're allowed to pull out of the river to water their fields for irrigation. We also have to have a certain flow to support the salmon population. We also have to have a certain flow to keep pushing the salt water out of the Bay Area Delta. So the salt water kind of encroaches into the bay. We want to have enough of a steady stream, kind of back pressure against it to keep it from getting up and over into the dry land. We don't want a bunch of salt.
That's what's happening in my new hometown, Bethel Island, because I've been told that people from South California have been taking our water, and so now seawater is approaching my hometown, my new hometown, and that's why you
really
see
tricky.
and you see sea otters now.
Oh, cool. Kind of.
No, not really. Seals and whatever, and
Yeah, so the water that we have here is part of the Central Valley Project. So that is a collaboration between dozens of dams between both the federal and the state. Their associated reservoirs, hundreds of miles of canals to move the water of the North State through the Central Valley. So Central Valley has a really moderate climate, Mediterranean, with very few frost days, really long growing seasons. But again, they have those drought years, they have those flood years. It's really hard to kind of tell where we're at in that cycle. So having the dam here helps regulate that.
I heard that some farmers are complaining that the laws are unjust and they're not giving farmers not enough water or something like that.
So that was definitely the case last year. Last year was year 3 of our drought. Like I said, the lake was way down, so we didn't have as much to release through the summer like we normally would. So some farmers weren't able to get their full water supply last year. When that happens, it kind of depends on what kind of farmer you are. If you're a rice farmer, something that requires a huge amount of water and it's a 1-year growing cycle, you might just not grow any rice that year.
Oh, wow.
But if you have something like a walnut orchard, and you have 10, 15, 20-year-old trees, you've been working on that for a really long time, you're going to want to try and find water to keep those trees alive, because that's not something that you can just replant the next year, it'll grow up and you'll have a product. So a lot of those folks had to turn to pumping groundwater or well water, buying water from other sources than they have in the past, which can get really expensive. So yeah, it's been very contentious with the farmers.
Right.
This year, not so much. We have plenty of water. We gave out 100% of our allocations this year, so all the farmers that wanted water got the water they wanted.
So they have to apply? How does that go?
I'm not 100% sure how exactly the system works. A lot of it's based on water rights. So if you were here in the 1800s, you bought a parcel of land, you were able to kind of say, all right, I have the water right for this, I get a certain amount of water each year as long as it's available. But then it gets tricky because there's people who are upriver versus downriver. Are the upriver people just going to pull it all? So yeah, it's very complicated. I don't entirely understand water law. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of what we deal with here. So where we have the switch yard and all of those cars and stuff down there, that is where we used to have the employee housing. So right before this project, Hoover Dam was constructed. After Hoover Dam finished, this project started. We got a lot of the workers to move up here. And we had the same construction superintendent as well. So it's a lot of folks who already knew what they were doing, already kind of knew each other, so they were able to jump into this project and just get going really quickly on it.
Yeah, we went to the Hoover Dam in right outside of Las Vegas. It was impressive.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't been to Hoover Dam yet, but I would like to go sometime. Now that I've started working here, there are a lot of people who've gotten to boat. Up here we got our little turkey vulture.
Is this project considered part of the New Deal, Roosevelt New Deal?
That's another one I'm not 100% sure on. I know that Roosevelt gave us our dedication plaque here. I'm not sure if it was designated as part of the New Deal funding.
This is massive. Oh, this is so beautiful. How could someone not love this place? This is the California that we dream about. Nice, pristine, the wide open, the great wide open, the wilderness. Oh my goodness.
Do you know much about salmon?
Well, and it's a good source of omega-3, and that's just about it. And they, from what I understand, they go to the saltwater sea to enjoy their life. Then they come back to where they were born, which is the freshwater inland, and to spawn. And by then their flesh would be decaying, and they would die there. And bow eagles and bears would conjugate there.
They're the ones that don't love this. So they used to be able to come up here. They love the Pitt River, the McCloud River, the Sacramento River. There are some great
I was just about to ask you, how does this affect the salmon migration?
So we're blocking off, like I said, the longest arm here backs up about 35 miles. So there used to be some really great spawning grounds, and we do not have a fish ladder at this dam. So once they hit down below, that's the end of the trail for them.
Oh no.
So in order to mitigate that, we do have some fish hatcheries in the area. So we'll capture a couple hundred of the salmon that are coming upstream. We'll bring them into our facility. We'll get the eggs from them and raise those eggs in a controlled environment where we have nice clean water, some great food, no predators. If they need any vitamins or medicine, we have that
wow.
for them. So they're getting the spa treatment.
Salmon heaven.
Yeah, some spoiled little babies.
Oh.
And then we release them back into the water. So that helps boost the population a little bit. Because salmon, if they're born naturally in the wild, they have a really high mortality rate. Because they get picked off really easily by bigger fish, by the birds, or they just can't find enough food. So we release several million of them back into the Sacramento River every year, hoping to boost the population a little bit. Before we release them, we cut a little piece off of one of their fins. So then when they're coming back up from the ocean, they'll take a look at the fins and they can count, all right, how many were born in one of our facilities and how many of these were wild born salmon. So they can kind of see
really?
if our project is successful. So far we've seen the population boost a little bit. With the drought the last few years, it's been kind of difficult for them to survive. Because the other thing that they're really picky about is their water temperature. So the Sacramento River, I don't know if you've ever gone and stuck your feet in it. It is
cold.
Freezing cold. Year round, it is freezing. Even on the hottest day, 110 degree Reading, you go in there and it's still going to be 50 degrees.
So the water I'm seeing here, will some of it will flow to my hometown.
Yeah, it flows down here to another dam called Keswick, and then after that, it's flowing down to the ocean essentially. I mean, there's several different spots along the way where they're pulling off water from it, diversion dams and canals and such. But yeah, this is the Sacramento River that we're seeing down below us. But anyways, building the dam here, we have all this water and it's very stagnant. It sits here, it warms up in the sun. The surface temperature here easily can get up into the 60s, sometimes into the 70s, which is way too hot for the salmon. So if we're pulling water off the top of the surface and dumping it down on the salmon, we see really high mortality rates. That's something that we've had to install in the dam. It's called our temperature control device. It allows us to get water from the very bottom of the lake, which is really, really cold down there. The sunlight can't reach 500 feet down. So by pulling that cold water, we can flow it out and hopefully have them have a higher success rate.
So sunlight cannot penetrate more than 500 feet of water?
I don't know exactly the penetration rate of sunlight, but down at the very bottom, there's very little sunlight down there. If you were to dive down to the bottom of the lake, it would be pitch black, essentially.
And okay, that's the place where we were at the visitor
the
center.
visitor center right there. Yep.
Is that just the visitor center, or does it double as administration? Okay, definitely.
Yeah, so down below us you can see our spillway gates. So those fold forward and can close back. So if we need to release water, like I said, if it's a flood year, we're having too much water in the lake, we still have a few more weeks of the rainy season, we'll dump a little bit off the top, and this becomes a giant waterfall.
Where's the spillway?
See kind of the silver metal down below?
Yes.
So those gates can fold up and down. So right now they're in the open position. We can fold them up into the closed position to hold the water back. So right now the water is down below where the gate starts.
So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh. So going to work every day here is not really going to work. It's like a mini vacation, like I said before, right? Oh my goodness. This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh. And what about the other dams that you mentioned? Are they worth visiting, or they don't allow visitors?
So Shasta Dam is the only one that people really visit in this area. Whiskeytown Dam, a lot of people hang out on the lake there. The dam itself isn't too exciting. It's just a dirt-filled dam that you drive over. Same with Keswick, you can drive over it. It's not anything too exciting. Trinity Dam and Lewiston Dam are also part of our network. They're an hour and a half drive from here. And again, they don't have a visitor center or like great facilities for visiting. So you could stop by if you like hanging out on lakes. Trinity Lake is beautiful. Lewiston Lake is beautiful. I go out to Whiskeytown all the time. It's a great spot for kayaking.
Okay. And there are a lot of falls around here, right?
Yes.
McLeod Falls.
Yeah. If you have time to pick up one of our visitor guides in the visitor center, there's dozens of waterfalls in this area.
I guess it's kind of too chilly. Well, I mean, not cold, but I mean, not an optimum ideal time to be taking a dip in one of those
Yeah, it would
pools,
be a
right?
little chilly this
Mhm.
time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because waterfalls are always icy.
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Oh my god, đẹp quá, tuyệt vời. Cái đó là núi Shasta, núi đó cao nhất của bang California. That's the tallest peak in California, right?
It's just not. I believe it's
It's
the
not?
5th tallest.
Oh, really?
Mount Whitney down near kind of Bishop Lomepine area in the Sierra Nevadas is taller.
Oh, Mount Whitney is
and there's a
is
couple
tall.
others in the Sierra Nevada area
Oh, okay,
that are taller.
okay.
But it's really, really close to how tall Whitney is.
Mm.
So earlier you asked about Roosevelt. This is the dedication plaque that he gave to us.
Oh, I like this.
Pretty small, but I like the memento behind it. Built by and for the American people.
Ngoài là cái núi đó không phải là núi cao nhất của California, núi cao nhất của California, núi Whitney.
So this kind of shows you what our generators look like. So the water comes through those penstock pipes out of the dam, spins a turbine, which turns a shaft, turns a rotor, there's magnets, it creates electrical current, and then it's sent out across those transmission lines and into the WAPA electrical grid. So WAPA is Western Area Power Administration. They go all across towards the Dakotas and Texas. So the power we produce here, it's kind of hard to track exactly where it goes, but it could be going to any of these states.
I thought. Oh wow! I thought we just produce electricity just for Sacramento or California.
No, it's probably mostly used more locally, but it does have the opportunity to go further out on the grid. But the amount of energy that we produce could power Sacramento if we were to direct it all that direction.
That's a salmon.
Yeah, so right there it's got irrigation water for 10 million acres of farmland,
Wow.
producing 60% of the nation's vegetables and 25% of its fruits and nuts. So that's the reason we have so much security here, is it's producing a lot of food for the United States. So we want to protect the water because we want to protect the food.
Yep.
Hey sir, you know you can't stop on the dam, right?
Oh, sorry about that.
I'm going to call security
I'll
on
get
you.
moving.
Howdy. I got his photo. You need me to get his license plate?
No, we're good. Alright, you want to go ahead and cross over right here?
This is for what?
Yeah, so that connects all the way down to the far end.
Uh-huh.
That kind of white building there is
Uh-huh.
actually a crane. So
Oh,
if
a
we
crane.
do some heavy equipment moving on
Uh-huh.
top of the dam, we can roll it on out here.
No kidding. And what type of purpose would that crane be used for?
So like a lot of this equipment here is super, super heavy. So
Mhm.
we're lifting it onto or off of the dam, have to replace any parts. We can do the heavy lifting with that. Same with the front of the dam. If we were to do some repairs on the front, need to anchor to something, we could probably use it for that.
Wow. Can we see? Is that the crane right there?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is massive. 2-story, eh?
Yep, and it's big enough that cars can still drive underneath it, so it doesn't impede traffic on the dam.
Wow. And does it go, where exactly does it stop? All the way?
It goes about halfway out. So
Only
it goes
halfway?
As far as the spillway.
I see.
Yeah, so if you look over
Impressive.
the edge here, you can see all of the pieces of wood.
The driftwood?
Yeah, so you can kind of see it better from this angle, but this is called our trash rack. So it prevents trash from going in, getting stuck in our generators. You can see a lot of it's really small, but underneath there you can see some full trees trying to make their way into there. So those came up with high water this year and then kind of got stuck in there as
Oh
the
my
water
God.
went down.
Any dead bodies?
I know Lake Mead, as the water was going down, they kept finding dead bodies.
Yeah?
As far as I know, we haven't had any wash up here.
Okay.
The only thing that washes
Nothing.
up when the water goes down here is We do have a film that's 20 minutes long, a little bit more about the construction of the dam. If you guys are interested in that, just let me know.
Are we? Can we go?
So typically this is as far as I take people out. If you want to keep walking, you're more than welcome to walk the rest of the way. There's not a whole else more to see than what we've already seen so far. But I'm going to be heading back to the visitor center. If you have any questions, feel free to bring them in. Me and Bonnie will be back in the visitor center. And then yeah, highly recommend that film for you if you're interested.
All right. All right. Thank you, Danny.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out and learn about Shasta
Yeah.
Dam and our water.
Yeah, I'm just gonna head over there and then head back.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. We'll see you back on the other side.
All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye bye. Đẹp quá. Danny. Thank you so much.
Oh, I can't accept tips.
Why?
I'm a federal government employee, so we're not allowed to accept
Really?
money from the public.
And just a small little thing. Really?
No,
Oh wow.
can't do it. If you want, you can donate in our visitor center. We do have an education fund,
Mhm.
and we accept donations to the education fund if you're
Oh wow.
interested.
Then is that strict? The government is that strict? Then? Really? Oof.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want you to lose your job.
You're good. Thank
Okay.
you, though. I appreciate you.
Yeah, okay.
Stop.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Kinh không?
Got a witness. I didn't accept
Nó không có mình cho nó tiền nó không nhận nha. Làm cho chính phủ kinh không? Làm cho chính phủ Mỹ hay không? Tốt. Tốt. Mặc dù không phải là hối lộ này kia mà nó nước Mỹ nó số 1 á là bởi vì nó là rất là kỷ luật. Còn cộng sản này thôi là muốn hắt xì hơi là phải xin phép cộng sản, phải cho nó tiền. Vậy những nước Bắc Hàn, Tàu, Việt Cộng không bao giờ mà giàu có được hết. Nó là cũng gian lận bóc lột người dân. Ai mà làm việc là làm gì, phải bỏ cái chế độ thối nát xã hội chủ nghĩa cộng sản đi, vứt vào thùng rác đi. Tư bản là số 1. hai cái con đường sắt đây nè là để cho cái máy kia kìa đó, mình tưởng nó là cái tòa nhà, thật không phải tòa nhà, đó là đó là máy á. Cái máy nó đi vào đây này như là xa lửa đó, đi tới đây để cho nó sửa sang những cái gì ở bên kia kìa. Nó chỉ tới nửa chừng cái đê thôi, nó quay lại. Thật là vĩ đại. Nhưng mà cho người ta tự do thì người ta làm nước mạnh. Còn những cái xã hội nào mà cộng sản lúc nào cũng bóc lột người dân, cấm người dân không làm này kia, là càng ngày càng nghèo, như là Việt Cộng. Chả làm đi cho người dân ấy. Lật đổ mẹ nó đi. Hơi nóng. Hello. Good. Beautiful day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm so jealous of you.
Oh,
Working here is so beautiful.
well, once upon a time I lived somewhere else and then came here.
And you never left. Okay. Yeah. Neither would I. Nó cái máy đó, máy lớn đó, 2 tầng kia, đủ hiệu nó nặng như thế nào. Người ta mang tới đây này, đi vào hai cái con đường sắt kia kìa. Có xe chứ. Bao nhiêu máy cho quyền. Nên đừng có đi xuống này bởi vì có con rắn độc. Sợ có con rắn nào cắn mình đập nữa. Này thích hơn nữa. Đẹp quá. Cái này thích này. Này vừa này. Lớn quá. Cái này đây. Đẹp quá.